Welcome back everybody to Let's Play Panzer Dragoon Orta! So, I've basically done everything there is to do in the game. So this is just me one last little wrap episode to show off any small things not shown just yet. For example, box game, which is basically free play, which has some very interesting things, because it's where a lot of this game's unlockables are. First, I'll just put you through a smaller run through of the appendix. This, for one, allows you to play the original Panzer Dragoon in its entirety, which is quite fun. Completing it unlocks you something interesting. I'll explain that in more detail later, but I don't intend to play it because I didn't really enjoy playing it that much, frankly. So I don't think I'd enjoy playing it on camera again. And if I'm not happy, I don't really find that it's good content when I'm playing something. You get a lot of art to see throughout as well. Some it's development art, some it's stuff like the art we saw during some recent episodes, playing through as Eva. And some stuff is stuff from other Panzer Dragoon games too, actually. You can see a lot of things, in fact, from other Panzer Dragoon games in Orta and unlockable content. For example, Azel from Panzer Dragoon Saga, also known as Panzer Dragoon RPG, I believe. Events are just the different little cutscenes that play in the middle of a level. Films are various cutscenes you can watch. Once again, this also involves a number of things that are from other games. See the opening to pre-order cutscenes, and I believe some other things. Well, apparently not the ending. I don't know why not. But you can see the opening and ending of the original Panzer Dragoon. I believe you unlock both these by completing, or I believe you get this by playing the original Panzer Dragoon, and this by completing it. I don't know what the criteria is for getting the stuff from Panzer Dragoon Zwei. I don't know why it gives you the ending either. Same thing, you get the ending from Panzer Dragoon Saga. So if you want to see the ending of literally every Panzer Dragoon game, this is all you need. This game's all you need. But so a lot of this ties into something interesting. So a lot of things you can unlock in this game ultimately go towards a box game. Box game is an interesting sort of free play. I'll spend most of this episode just showing you some of the different things you can do here. You can play in whatever difficulty. I believe so long as you complete the game on that difficulty, I'm not sure. You can have different things you're riding on, which I'll go into more detail on. You can have yourself more health. You can make it yourself heal over time. You can give yourself one-shot KO. You can basically give yourself infinite health. Berserk can be whatever as well. Instant Berserk, never any Berserk, and I think this makes it last longer if you go to multiplayer. I'm not sure. Make each form be whatever level. And you can have a different rider too. For example, Eva, which is entertaining in some cases. You can have no rider. You can have Mobo, oddly enough. You can have Azel from, what was it, from Panzer Dragoon Saga. Azel and the Panzer Wing are probably the two hardest things to unlock in this game. I'll show you these two things right now, actually. Let's go to Sestrin. Yeah, because I think you get a good view of him here. And do keep in mind what you're writing also affects your stats quite a lot. So now we're writing something from, I don't even remember which Panzer Dragoon game this is from. The Panzer Wing. The Panzer Wing is very, very powerful, basically. You have a Berserk. Yes, you have an absurd Berserk actually as the Panzer Wing, which I'm probably not going to get the chance to show you. I'd like to, because it's the most overpowered Berserk in the game by a huge portion. But if you look closely, I'm also playing as Azel, riding on this thing too. This also just does tons of damage in general. It's very big. But if I set, for example, my Berserk to unlimited and start at the boss of, say, the first level, you'd also just go straight to the ending for some reason. I don't know why. I can demonstrate how overpowered this thing's Berserk is. And it's amazing. Make sure I can actually start hurting it first. Keep in mind I'm playing on hard too. I'm destroying these things like crazy quickly. Of course, I haven't played this game in well over a week, so I'm also taking a lot of damage. But so this is how much damage I do normally, destroying those things all in one blow. But when things get crazy is when I actually use my Berserk. In just a moment. For example. Notice how long this lasts. It's a little crazy. So some of your unlockable mounts are incredibly powerful. I'm not gonna sit through the ending cutscene for that. You need to get graded even if you start on the boss, which is kind of weird. But episode 6 has no boss, so that doesn't really do anything for that level. But yes, you can have some interesting situations, such as having Mobo ride mostly anything. Some of these things can't have riders. You can also have a Dragon Mare, which you unlock by completing every single Eva mission, or every single Imperial Boy mission, with an S rank, which was not fun, but I did it, so. It's going to have some interesting situations there. Such as having Mobo ride a... What was episode 5? 7 is Sestron, yes. So let's have, for example, Mobo ride. Also, most things don't have Berserks, that includes the Dragon Mare. But have Mobo ride a Dragon Mare through the Tundra, for example. Mobo, I believe you unlock Mobo by getting an A rank on the Fury of Mobo. Also, you sometimes hear certain dialogue from... Most of the time, these cutscenes are skipped in these, but for some reason you hear her say stuff, or Orta say stuff in some of these levels. You can best barely make out Mobo on here. Whenever you play as a Dragon Mare, basically what ends up happening is your rider is incredibly small. Crap, I can't look up there. Hi. Dragon Mare is actually pretty darn bad, though. They have an absurd number of lock-ons. They have 30 lock-ons. But they fire them all sequentially. Fun, they're weak, but they fire all their missiles sequentially. So you spend a horrid amount of time just shooting more and more bullets in succession. It's actually kind of absurd. That's cool. I mean, there's some novelty in playing as a Dragon Mare if nothing else. Even if a Dragon Mare kind of sucks to play as. And there's something interesting about Dragon Mares too. Now, unfortunately, the one thing that there seems to be in this game that you can't really play as is Abed's Dragon Mare. But at the same time, you can, interestingly enough, let's see how small let's see how small Eva is on this thing. If you hold the white button as you press start, after selecting Dragon Mare, you might notice something. So notice the coloration of these Dragon Mares. It's a different color than the one I was just playing as. And now I have the same coloration as these Dragon Mares here. If you hold the white button as you selected, or as you start a level with the Dragon Mare selected, interestingly happens is you're actually colored like a Dragon Mare. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm shooting, it's because for some reason Eva has a gun now. Similar to how Mobo had a gun earlier. The mounts are pretty much the most interesting thing in the game by a good portion. Got a good amount. You can also, for some reason, just change the outfit of Orta if you're playing as Orta. You can set it to an outfit similar to Azel's. I don't know why. That outfit she wore in the ending, or just whatever she's normally wearing. But Dragon Only is an interesting one. Let's go to Blue Dragon to show how grotesquely overpowered it is. Blue Dragon, which you get by completing the original Panzer Dragoon, is really cool because it's the Blue Dragon, but it's also incredibly powerful. I'm playing this on hard, mind you, and look how I'm tearing everything apart. It moves really quickly too. It has no Berserk, but it doesn't have any need for one. It has a good number of lock-ons. I can't lock on anything right now. There's nothing I can do right now. It does a horrifying amount of damage. Its only issue is its size, I guess. But also notice that I have no rider, but I just shoot stuff like a gun anyways. It just kind of comes from the dragon's head if you don't have a rider. Certain mounts will never have riders though. And there's a single mount that, oddly enough, can only have one rider. You'll see that in a minute. Anyways, after that demonstration of the raw power of the blue dragon, which is great, there's the worm rider, which is interesting to be. Might as well start on the boss. So this is also unlocked, I believe, by completing the Fury of Mobo with an A rank. Multiple Mobo! Hi, Mobo. I always hate how you couldn't skip this cutscene. I see a size difference here. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, see, I selected no rider, so there's nobody riding this thing right now. Oh, I have to wait for things to... And this plays exactly like it did, and I have to wait longer, great. This plays exactly like it did in the Fury of Mobo, though, so it's nothing new. Once again, your lock-on is smoke bombs, and your shot is that weird purple goo stuff. So it's fun and cool, but nothing we haven't seen before. Bong bong bong. There's something weird about this thing. For whatever reason, and you see that I have nobody riding the worm or the balder right now. Say I set the rider to, Orta, for example. And then let's not start the boss because I don't feel like going through a lengthy cutscene. Something weird happens. I don't know why this is. I would have liked it if it wasn't this. I guess it just has to do with how normally whenever anybody's riding a dragon, they're always like straddling it. Whereas Mobo's the only one with an animation for standing. So no matter what rider you select, you always end up having Mobo on the balder, which makes it kind of sad. So I would like seeing Orta on a balder. Oh no, I missed you. I shall not leave anything alive. Once again, well, I haven't really mentioned about how some certain, I haven't talked much about how some certain mounts going to be really underpowered, just like the blue dragon is probably overpowered, but playing as the balder is quite difficult, frankly, because it fires its lock-on sequentially, and it's just kind of weak in general and has very few lock-ons. But oh well. Now, there's an interesting one. You saw it just a little bit before. This is the baby wing, which, I don't know, where should I play as this thing? The baby wing is an amusing one, mostly because of its size, as its name might imply. You saw this thing last episode, actually, but it's not very large, as you can see. It basically just plays as like a weaker base wing. It does not have a lot of health though, from what I can tell. It's not incredibly damaging either. In fact, that's kind of its main issue. It doesn't really do much damage at all. But it gets Berserk constantly. And its Berserk lasts an incredibly short amount of time. So that kind of tries to make up for its deficiencies and its ability to do much of anything, but it doesn't really work. Baby still babyish and weak. I don't know as much health from that. Well, I'm pretty sure I don't know if I would have lost more health from that normally or not. Boom! Let's go into it! Boom! Just wanted to show how I got eaten by that thing. But baby wing is amusing because it actually has Berserk, but that's all there is to it. Default forms is just a normal dragon, Panzer wing, Airship. Okay, so Airship would also be my favorite. Largely because it's actually really crappy. But it also has no rider, no matter what. Has no berserk. It's definitely the worst mount out of all of them. But it's almost probably the most fun to play as, because you're a little boat. Look at that. Once again, like so many other things, you fire all your missiles sequentially. Oddly enough, though, I think this boat has, despite being incredibly weak overall for a number of reasons, I think it actually has the best gun out of anything, because its bullets move incredibly quickly, and they fire at an incredibly high rate. So it's actually relatively easy to gun down enemy attacks. It's also very small and incredibly nimble. Well, I'm not sure I'd say it's not small, but it's incredibly nimble if nothing else. So as long as you can take advantage of everything you need to avoid enemy attacks, it's not that bad. But its weakness comes from a little something else. You see, this is in fact a normal enemy we're playing as. You may have already figured out what the implication of this happens to be. Hi, I'm playing normal things, just like myself. If not, you'll probably see it soon enough. If I don't manage to just kill everything, I might just let something happen for you to see. Because the one downside, aside from just being weak, of the boat is that! Holy crap! See, we're a normal enemy right now. We don't exactly happen to find ourselves rolling in health. This is by far the most vulnerable thing you can play as in the game. And of course, you can modify your own HP as much as you want in box mode in the first place. Aside from the low damage output, the boat has a horrible disadvantage of being able to take on par like 2 hits, 2 to 3 hits before it's shot down. So you really have to know how to dodge things. So keep in mind your ability to dodge the side extra quickly by double tapping one direction or another. Well, to the side or up or down. Aside from that, happy gunning basically, and have fun being a normal Imperial trooper. I think it's funny just playing as a little boat and whatnot. It's a nice challenge in a way too. It doesn't play too much different from the Dragon either, I don't think, aside from the whole only one form thing. So I don't think there's actually too much that you're losing either. Boom! You failed. Dragon rank, pigeon. I like how the game, every time you die in box game, it gives you a report on your playthrough of the entire game. I'm not quite sure why that is, but apparently this mode is also designed for you to marathon throughout the entire game. Not sure why. But that's basically all I have to show you, having just broken 20 minutes, almost. Well, I'm close. About 19 minutes, actually. But that's really all I have to show. I mean, I did go over most of how you get these things. The airship, I believe, you get by getting A rank on the mission, or the submission, where you play as an Imperial tank and have to protect some airships from being shot down by things trying to gun them or shoot missiles at them. But that aside, I don't remember most of how you unlock things. Some of these things, I wasn't even sure how I unlocked them in the first place. Baby Wing, there's that level where you play as it that you got to see last episode. If you get an A rank on that, you unlock the Baby Wing. So that's all there is to it, I find. So some of these things have... I didn't explain their content, though, for getting the Panzer Wing and Ozil. So the really weird way of unlocking these is you have to get through... I don't remember the specific number. You have to get through the entire game taking less than... I think it was like 66 hits. Not sure if it was 66 specifically or not. It was somewhere around there, I think. That was indeed a dragon. But yeah, you need to do it all in a single playthrough too. It's not like a cumulative thing. And that's very few hits overall, by the way. Like, when I did a playthrough to do that, I actually played on easy just for the sake of it not being horribly hard to avoid taking that many hits. And it was actually still quite a challenge in some levels, taking that few hits. Because I was averaging something like 6 hits per level, but some levels you get an S rank for taking 8 or 9 hits. And the expectations aren't always that high for you to only be taking that few hits throughout the game. So what ends up happening is you actually have to have a pretty good run through the game to do that. Of course, you can just restart every level to your heart's content, like I did with mission, or with level 8, for example, at the Imperial Armory, because that would be absurdly difficult to do on one try, regardless of what difficulty you're playing on, but still. I think I'm really demonstrating how powerful the Panzer Wing is right now, because I'm fighting all the game's weakest enemies. Oh well. Zoom! That's not the point. But every individual mount does have its own characteristics for you to find out. And there's a surprising amount of stuff to be unlocked in this mode alone that you can't really experience otherwise. So I think it's nice to take the time to see everything you can get in here, even if just for the novelty of having it and being able to say that you've unlocked it. So I was pretty happy with that. And I'm quite happy indeed to have been able to say that I 100% in this game, as long as you don't count getting all S ranks in that. But I got all A ranks on hard, I'm pretty sure, so hey, I'm happy. So that's I have a couple little videos of me having fun in box mode with some certain amusing scenarios I came up with that I'll put up probably 2 days from now. So you can have some fun watching those, I suppose. But that aside, that's really all I have to say about this game. I enjoyed playing it for how many hours? For 21 hours, apparently. And getting, also this entire playthrough. This was my playthrough of the game. I only played through the game on easy was when I played through this for that one, or for unlocking Ozzel and the Panzer Wing. As you can see, I played some certain levels a lot of times. Oddly enough, I found episode 10 to be harder on easy than on any other difficulty, but whatever. I also managed to get for the first time 100% accuracy on episode 7, which was fun. That aside, my first playthrough was on normal, ever since I played through on hard, so I'd say I got, unless you count 100% shot down ratio on every level, I'd say I pretty much 100% this game through and through. And I'm happy with that. I've shown most of that to you guys too, or at least the fruits of all of it, and as many of the requirements as I could. So aside from original Panzer Dragoon, which I don't really intend to play, I think that's about it. So, I hope you guys had half as much fun as I did playing through Panzer Dragoon Orta. I think it was quite nice. I think it was a great way of ending off a series that, frankly, I wasn't so familiar with coming into this, but I liked it a lot. Especially with how much this game really tied together all the previous games and gave you information about them. But still let you figure some things out for yourself. For example, I don't think I pointed this out, but if you go into dragons, and you can even get some descriptions of the different dragons that show up in the different games. Logi from Zvai. This neither really supports nor damns, I guess, the idea of these dragons being one and the same or being separate entities. I consider them separate entities myself. Well, in a way. I'd have to explain it specifically, which I'm not going to do. But I think it's a nice series in its own right. I don't really intend to play other Panzer Dragoon games, but I do have played this. I hope that even if you don't really want to see any more Panzer Dragoon stuff, that you thought this was a nice little delving into the Panzer Dragoon universe. I know that this got me into some interesting stuff because I looked up so many new things about the other Panzer Dragoon games because of this. Just so I can understand everything that went on here. Namely things that went on in Sestrin with heresy and things like that. But anyhow, things need to come to an end, I suppose, and what better place to do it than here. See you guys next time in whatever I do. I honestly don't know what that is yet, but whatever it is, thank you guys for joining me in Panzer Dragoon Orta.